Months ago, I made a video about, is it worth it for a man to date a single mom? I forget the exact title that I made, but after all this time, a person that I used their clip, and I really didn't say anything bad in there. I was just being fair of the pros and cons that a man would have dating a single mom. But this person here with the neck tattoo took and had my video flagged and taken off. So I have to make the video again. But I won't be using your clip. I'm going to be using another clip. And I'm going to use a woman's clip because that way I have a little bit extra backing. Because it's easy to find a man saying why you shouldn't date a single mom. It's also easy to find a man saying, like, you guys should date a single mom. So, I'm being neutral here because it depends on the woman that you pick. But I guess I have to do it again.
You must avoid these 5 types of single mama dramas at all costs. The I'm always right, you're always wrong mom. Any woman who thinks she's always right and never wrong, especially a single mom, is going to make your life a living HE double hockey sticks. Silent but deadly, also known as passive aggressive. Anything unusual but aimed to hurt you. That's a major red flag. Drama mama. If she likes to start fights via text, she is a drama mama. Red flag. But any mom, any single mom who makes her current partner pay for the sins of her choices in men in the past is a red flag. You might want to watch.
Hey, my friends, welcome to the RP Experience. This is technically a re-upload because I already did this video before and I thought I was being fair in there. And as I said in the beginning, yeah, it was a clip that I used that I was trying to show, well, I was trying to be fair, that there is like double standards or inconsistencies in the manosphere at times with women, with how we judge them, and how the same way as in our case is like we feel like there's nothing that we can do right, like we can't win. Some of them feel the same way, like they can't win, even though they a good woman, but they made like a mistake or something just happened in their life or something like that. Mainly I'm talking about a baby. But as I say, that person had my video flag. So I'm going to move off of that. I hope she sees this video and I'm in a win-win situation because she has like 1 million subscribers. So her even mentioning me will actually probably boost my subscribers. And I do find it funny because men support her, a woman, about men's issues that much. Meanwhile, there's like plenty of men in here that's pretty much saying the same thing that she's saying, and sometimes not being as biased, and they can barely get like 100 subscribers, So, I mean, once again, the simp stuff is on display, and this is why, while women shoot themselves in the foot, we as men shoot ourselves in the foot as well. Not all of us. It's just enough of us tip the boat over to help it sink. In so many words. Anyway, I have a video that I'm going to share talk about this issue with should a man date a single mom? You know, now, me personally, I do have a daughter, and I don't share her on social media because, especially because of what I'm doing now, is to pretty much protect her privacy. And I am in her life. I try to be, I try to have a positive relationship with her because I know it's a lot of you women, females, have issues with your dad and stuff like that. Even though I'm not trying to be her best friend, but however, I'm also trying not to be a Orn tyrant neither to her. So I want her to feel like she can come talk to me about stuff if she needs to talk to me about stuff. Anyway, personally, would I date a single mom? The right one, yes, I would try. Just because a woman has a baby doesn't mean that she can't be a good woman. And actually, certain things that I can observe with that too. Because if she is a good mom to that kid, then I don't have to worry about her being a trashy mom. You know, like plenty of moms are out there. How some moms may even lose their kids. And I always think it is hard for a man to take a woman's kids away from her unless if she shows some type of idiotic behavior and there's some type of safety issue. Now, of course, though, everybody makes mistakes, and obviously she can try to fix that. But if she is in that situation, knowing how the laws and stuff is more stacked to favor the woman, then she dropped the bag. And that's her fault, So, a little sympathy there. And of course, I say that for a reason because that applies to someone. Anyway, let's get on with the video.
Well, in this video, we're going to go through the pros and cons of dating single moms, along with some red flags and risks that you want to watch out for. Okay, let's go through the pluses first. So, what are some of the pluses of dating a single mom? Well, number one is there's probably going to be less competition because there are going to be some men out there who just simply won't want to date a single mom. So there will be fewer men for her to choose from. That gives you a little bit more leverage. Second thing is, if she's a good single mom, then she probably knows how to cook, at least a little bit, or she can put food on the table for her kids. And the third thing is, it's a built-in family, so you don't have to worry about whether or not she can have kids if you do want a family, or whether or not your swimmers are working. There's already one or more children there for you to father, and if you're looking to be a father and you don't want to have to go through the baby years, then you might be able to skip that. If she's a good mom, then she probably also has a higher degree of nurturing, stability, and financial responsibility. So those are all great qualities to be looking for in any woman, and you'll be able to see those if she's a single mom, if you look for them. The next thing is, you know what she's going to look like after giving birth. So you know how sometimes women might gain a little bit of weight and never lose it again after giving birth? Well, if she's already given birth, especially if she's given birth more than once, well, what you see is what you get. So you're not going to have to worry that there's going to be a bait and switch from having more kids down the road. Probably the way she looks is the way you're going to get her. So if that's important to you, and no problem if it is, like, I don't judge you for that, no one should judge you for that, then you're already going to know what the bill of sale is, or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Next, pro of dating a single mom is that if she's a good one, she probably has a higher desire for stability, longevity, and loyalty. So again, if she's a good mom, she's going to want what's best, not just for herself, but for her kids. So there's a greater chance of her being willing to work through things, because all relationships have difficulties, and to stick it through for the benefit of the family, not just run away at the first sign. So that's another one. And then the final thing is that, again, if she's a good one, then she's probably not a hoe out at the bar every weekend, just spreading them for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay, so those are the benefits.
Okay, I agree with this. Those are some good perks right there. One thing she didn't say is that if you see, even though you gotta be careful about social media because people always show their best side on social media, but if you observe her being a good mom with her kid, you know what kind of mom that you're going to get if you have kids with her. Because with some women, and yes, I guess this is true with men too, but this is usually if you're just having fun with the person, going on trips, going to parties, clubs, and stuff like that. You don't know how they are in real life situations or when they have responsibility and pressure. So, if you see that she's not always snapping out on her kid, because some kids can be like a handful. If she's handling that kid with not a lot of frustration and not looking for her first chance to run the streets or something, because there are women like that have kids that the first thing they want to do is run the street, like hand that kid off as soon as the guy get home from work after doing like 8 or 10 hours or something like that. And yes, you guys should share responsibility with the kid. And of course, probably maybe the kid wore you out, but I think it's unfair for you just to hand the kid off and then run the street to try to go hang out with your friends or to drink and all of that other stuff, because that part of your life is not over, but it's changed. You can't just do that like that. Those are things that I wish I knew. And this is the thing you have to be careful if you go with women that are like straight extroverts. They always have to be out there in the street or in the party scene or something like that. Because I don't think they'll be, they can learn to be good moms, like, especially if they're a single mom, they are forced to do that. But in a relationship, I can see them taking advantage of still trying to live the party life, shirk the responsibilities with the kid. So, and that's the thing there. The same way that I put, you have the female, the woman, and the lady. Which one of those women have the baby? Okay, so if she's a lady and she has a baby, that can work. If it's a woman, it's 50-50 of how it can go depending on which way she's leaning. And if she's a female, if she have those characteristics of the female, you have to check out that video. Maybe I'll put like a box on here so that you can click on. If she's a female and has a kid, leave her alone until she matures and get out of that. And that's if you want to do that, because it could take her to 40 or 45 or late 30s to mature. And by then, you don't know what kind of person that you are getting then. So anyway, let her give you the cons. And then I'm going to add my 2 cents after that.
Or the potential benefits. What about the cons? What about the things that are maybe not so great about potentially dating a single mom? Okay, well, those things are the big one. The one you must consider is that if things go sideways, you might be on the hook for her kid and herself as a dependent. You might be financially obligated legally to support that family. That's a reality. You have to consider that. So don't move forward without considering that very, very real possibility. If things don't work out, she's going to want to make sure that she's looking out for her own first.
Oh, And I know I forgot initially to say, you guys hit the like button, subscribe and share, and turn on notifications. Okay. Um, what she was saying with you having to provide for that kid that's not yours. I think there's a time limit with that or something. Like if you with them a certain amount of time, I'm pretty sure it's not just a couple of months. Might even not be a year, but I'm not sure about that right there. But that I did not know. I did not know. Even though I could see you like a person like me maybe becoming attached to that child and maybe still want to do certain things for them. But see, that's one bad thing there. If the relationship blows up, it's like you have to wash your hands of the whole situation and stuff like that, and that can be awkward. So that's something to think about.
Next thing you have to consider is that if she's a good mom, her kids are going to be a priority, which means that you're not going to have as much freedom in that relationship. So, kids have schedules, kids get sick. Sometimes you just don't get to go and do the things you would get to do in a relationship with someone who doesn't have kids. And if she's a good mom, then yeah, her kids have to be her priority. So that's just something that you need to take into consideration.
She said about the child being the priority. I mean, duh, I expect that. Is that like the same thing that with my life? I have certain responsibilities, and that's like the priority before that person comes into my life. I can't just drop everything and make her the focal point and stuff. You know, uh, I guess you should be careful saying that because people always take that the wrong way when you tell them like, well, you're not the priority. I have other stuff I have to do and stuff like that. And yeah, that can make people feel a certain kind of way. I've heard some women express frustration with that with men that their priority is their job or something. So, uh, I don't know. As I always say, we need to understand each other's position and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And priority doesn't mean like you don't mean nothing. It just means that, the person has to focus on that first. And then they'll come to you. Not like a day or many hours later or something.
Another thing is the ex is forever. No matter how involved the father of the child is, unless they're like passed away or perhaps incarcerated, a big red flag right there. But if the father is completely out of the picture, that's one thing. But if the father is in the picture, then you are going to be dealing with another parent and person who has been intimate with this woman. That might be a good relationship if they have a reasonable relationship, or it might be not a very good relationship. And if those kids are going to, daddy's on the weekend and daddy's not available, well, there's another, inconvenience for you or something that you're just going to have to work around. And aside from any drama that could potentially be in the picture, even if she's amazing, he might have been really hurt by the breakup, and now you're dealing with, emotional baggage from a relationship you had nothing to do with. Real considerations here.
That's true. The ex is forever, I mean, that's the thing with my ex-wife. Because of my daughter, we will be forever tied together. So I've got like mixed feelings there. It's kind of like, gosh, I wish I did not, because when I break up with somebody or either we have a falling out or something like that, I'm one of those people like I cut off all communication. Like I don't want to see, think, or hear of you again. You know, I want to like erase you from my past, basically. And that seems like a cold thing, but it's kind of like I like I take my relationships so seriously, even my friendships, that if I'm betrayed or it doesn't work out or something like that, it's hard for me just to go to being friends. I guess it depends how the breakup happened or something. But if it happened and it got like real toxic, nasty, or either I know she's leaving me for another guy, or just certain things like that, it's kind of like, what do I do with this? Like, I really don't want to deal with you anymore because it's so much hurt and pain right there. So I have to pretty much suck that up. And, I know she does too because of the child and stuff. So I don't know. I'm almost about to tell men that it's not even a thing of maybe depending on your situation, or most men's situations, don't get married and don't have kids. That way, y'all break up or something like that, you can make a clean break. Or either let that be the only one. I don't want to have like a bunch of baby moms that I always have to deal with. And if I'm dealing with a woman that has a bunch of baby dads, I have to look at her a certain kind of way. And I might have to deal with those men. The same way Russell Wilson has to keep dealing with Future, making songs and making comments about him online. And maybe in person too. Who knows?
Another negative. I've been a stepmom a few times. I know all about this one. You're not my daddy. Or for women, you're not my mommy. So reality land is you do not have very much authority with somebody else's kids, and they are needy, selfish, nasty wee beings. That's just how kids are. That's how they're built. So you're going to have to negotiate expectations with the mom in order to be able to determine just how much influence you're going to have with those kids. And you may have to put up with some crap behavior from them, because if it's between you and the kids, again, if she's a good mom, she's going to have to put her kids first, depending on what the situation is, of course. So, that's for a deeper conversation. We'll leave that one alone. But just know that kids are not always fun.
And that's another thing. I never want to be on the receiving end of some kid telling me, just because I'm telling him or her that, hey, you can't do that, or you're on punishment, or either you have to give up your cell phone or something like that. And then they turn around and say, like, hey, you're not my dad, or something like that. It's like, and I'm pretty sure sometimes women have to go through this too, but I don't think they have to go through it as much as with men, because usually the kid is with the mom. Now, unless if those times that they take and watch the kid, and I guess maybe I'm talking about the dad watches the kid and they're over there with his new woman or something like that, I guess. But I know in my case, knowing how my daughter is or something, I would not leave my daughter with the woman that I'm dating alone, because I don't want to go with, he say, she say stuff. And I don't want to cause the partner down with at that time any needless stress. So my daughter would be with me like glue. I never watch her on days that I have to work. So, that could change in the future though. Who knows? But like now, like, yeah, I would take her with me, and I would pretty much handle her mostly. Like, my woman would not have to go through that. Now, only thing though, she might have to hear the drama stuff if me and the baby mom is going through stuff, because we're at peace right now, but that can always change. And I know with my last serious relationship with her, and me and her got along great, but I know that was a little bit of the issue that she had. Even though I think she thought that I would go back with the baby mom, or either I would be still messing with her. I don't know. But I know that was something that she was thinking about.
Another thing that may be a deterrent about with dating single moms is that she may have physical changes that are can influence what you do in the bedroom or how much you do in the bedroom. And she, in other words, she might have a lower libido, or she could have like the other physical effects of giving birth. I mean, that's like a friggin' watermelon that comes out of there. So, you know, it's just reality land. So let's just hope that she's done her Kegels and she's, you know, back on track with the bionic JJ. That's fixable, but the libido thing, the hormone thing, that might not be fixable. So you definitely want to go in with eyes wide open, especially if you want to have another kid with this woman, because even though she might be, you know, super keen right now, after, you know, a second or third child, things can change. And that's actually the case with anyone if you're going to have a child. So yeah, hormones change after giving birth sometimes, and it's not always the best thing for a relationship, especially for a guy. Another potential drawback to dating a single mom is going back to the kids. You can't be her priority until those kids are out on their own. So that, however old they are, that could be a few years, or that could be several years before they are not her priority and the dependents in the family relationship. So, you know, you're just going to be limited a little bit by having a family until they're able to go out on their own. And then on that note, another thing might be that once they are gone, the dynamic in the relationship might change, because, you know, people come together because they need each other or want each other or desire each other for different reasons. If those, you know, if the dynamics of a relationship change down the road, and this can happen in any couple's relationship where they have kids, as you know, kids finally leave the house, they have nothing left in common, and they split up. Another potential drawback is that depending on how long she's been a single mom, if it's longer, then she may tend to be more bossy and dominant because she's had to play both roles for those children. And again, depending on how much the baby daddy is involved in the relationship, if there's no baby daddy, then she's having to direct that whole family situation. So it may take her some like conscious effort to get back into her feminine, and there are things you can do to encourage that, but I'll save that for another video. But just know that initially she'll feel like she may have to lead and direct and schedule because she's just been so used to doing that. And then finally, a practical consideration is who's going to be in the will. Like if you both have assets, if she's got assets, when you're together for any length of time, is she going to want to will some of her assets, all of her assets, to her children? I mean, this will depend on how old they are and both your financial situations. So that's just something to consider. There's too many variables to discuss here. So let's just now go into some of the things that you need to consider, and like the risks of dating a woman and some of the red flags that you want to watch for. So contrary to what you might think, if she doesn't make her kids a priority and she puts you above her kids, that's actually a red flag, because she should put her children first, at least for a period of time. And depending on how old they are, especially if they're younger, they need to come first. If somebody else comes before her children, then I would question her values. And because if she's that disloyal to her own, then how loyal can she be to you? Really, bigger, better deal type of thing. So watch for that. Another red flag you want to consider is if she is super easy to hop in the sack with you, if she's super keen to hop in the sack with you really quickly, then that's actually a red flag. You might.
Last point that she addressed about like sleeping with real quick. I don't know. That depends. If every guy's a little different with this, of course, a guy doesn't. He'll look at a woman funny that he sleeps with like real quick. But the thing is, if I've known that woman for a while, if we was like associates or something, and you know, I always got like a good vibe with her, and then when we finally had a chance to hang out, it escalated. I'm not going to judge her too much about that because I'm participating in that too, and I know that's a double standard thing that I want to express right now, where men can sleep with women on the first night and not really be judged by that, only because women not judging them, and if a woman sleeps with them, Real quick, guys, we'll look at that girl as a 304. Yeah, I don't really think that's fair, and I do think, both people are participating in the thing, but most men is not going to change their stance on that. Me, I'm like pretty much fair. If I'm going to be sleeping with the girl, I'm kind of like almost as bad as her. So if I'm going to do it, I'm not really going to judge her on doing the same thing with me. Now, that changes though. If I know a girl that, she hooks up with every guy at the job or at the bar or places I know, and then on some slow Tuesday, me and her end up hooking up. If that happens, then, I may not look at her too much more than like a fun girl or something, only because I see her history and how she's behaving. I feel like if I get serious with her, I'm going to be stupid and she's going to cheat on me. Anyway, and that doesn't matter if she has a kid or not. Some women are still in the streets like this.
Like that because you want to have sex, but if she's just willing to, again, just give it away for free to anyone showing up, then she might have ulterior motives, and that should be something that should give you concern. And even if she doesn't have ulterior motives that are maybe finances driven or getting pregnant real quick again or what have you, it's still something that you want to pay attention to, because she should be really being a little bit more chaste.
So I'm not chasing. No. We men do not chase these days. The men that know the deal. Like, hey, I will approach and ask you out, and I may ask you out a couple of times, and if you don't capitalize on that or either respond or something, and of course I'll give you more leeway if you have a kid, because obviously things will keep coming up or something, but otherwise I'm going to like back off and turn my attention somewhere else, because now I know probably how many options it is. And if you are taking pictures with other dudes or hanging out with other guys, but you can't put some time for me, then obviously I know where I fall in the order right there. So there's no chasing. That was all right in the old days when it wasn't really social media and maybe your competition was one or two dudes. But now, since it's like a couple 100,000 people across the world, everybody in their phone, on their social media and stuff like that, that may be a potential interest thing for her. No, I'm not competing with that, so I'm not chasing.
And vetting the prospects for whoever might be able or might be willing to step into these children or children's lives. So she should be a little bit choosy. Okay, another red flag is how many baby daddies does she have? So if she's got more than one baby daddy, you would definitely want to bring your own raincoat to the rain parade. You want to make sure that you wear a condom, because, she could be looking for another support payment. Sad but true. Okay, and finally, the other red flag is how soon did she split with her ex after giving birth? Or did she even get to give birth? Did she split while she was pregnant? Did she split while the child was really young? The reason why you want to take note of this is because how willing is she going to be to stick through a relationship if she wasn't willing to stick through a relationship with her child or children's father, who should be the most important person that she tried with? Because it's critical, especially nowadays, to try and keep the family unit together. There's no better father for a child than their own biological father, if he's a good man. And if he's not a good man, then that in itself should be a red flag as to how she decided to choose him. Why did she choose someone who wasn't a good man, and why did it not last long enough to provide a solid family unit for her kids? So those are the things that I've got, but there are good single moms out there, so I'll do another video for you on things to watch for if she's a good single mom and a good one to date. If you have any comments, write them below.
Oh, and she mentioned a thing about the multiple baby dads. That's definite red flag for me. If a woman has more than one baby dad, you know, I'm looking at her like, wow, what happened? Either you're real reckless or either you're just trying to stack up a multiple income stream of baby dads giving you money. Those are only two things right there. Either you're real reckless, not learning from your mistakes, or either this is done on design and purpose to keep the resources coming in. So multiple baby dads, no. I mean, it's enough with one. So she has one, and also depend on the amount of kids. Like me, I'm pretty much even. So I have one daughter. So if she has one kid, then fine. If she has two kids, I have to really think about it. I mean, either way, she's gonna have to be an awesome individual. She's gonna have to be something else if she has more than one kid or something. Because I have only one. So you know, I'm not going for multiple, two, three, four, five kids or something. Some other guy may do that, and that's what I will say for women that you know too, that each kid that you have makes it more harder for each guy because some guys will not mess with a single mom at all. And if it's multiple kids, then that's the thing. And one of the final things she said is depending on when the women left. Is a thing in the man space about uh women doing that praying mantis thing. Meaning like they'll deal with the guy and once they have a kid, one or two or maybe three or something like that, she'll break up with the guy. Which, however, though, it is a lot of stress and pressure when you add a kid into the mix, and especially if you are somewhat having financial problems. Believe me, I know, on both sides, so I do understand the woman's thing. But with that being said, if she leaves real quick like that, then it does make you wonder how much effort she'll put in a relationship. Um, you know. And of course, like I said previously, with women that may just get pregnant again, then break up with the guy, and then have another stream of income coming in, off of child support, then as a fellow, you have to watch out for that. So, okay, looking at the pros and the cons, there's way more cons than pros. So it's already now as a man that I say if you're going to be getting in a relationship with a woman and you're getting that reciprocal energy, she's going to have to be a pretty stand-up individual. She don't have to be perfect, but she has to be striving to be the best version of herself. And of course, she's going to have like emotional meltdowns and go through stuff because of like hormones and stuff like that. That's understandable. But however, as I say, can't be going to the zenith, um, testing the man's patience. And you have to respect that man. Love him like he's loving you. Put some effort in. It's not just all about you. And I think that's the thing people forget when they have kids and stuff like that. Because I mean, man, you're suddenly put on the back burner, and as a woman, you're getting put on the back burner too because the kid becomes the focus. So we both have to understand that both our needs are going to be somewhat directed toward the kids. So we might not be having as much nookie as we are used to having, and we may not be having as much attention that we are used to having because a lot of that is going toward the kid. So I see a lot of couples break up in a couple years after they have a baby. So I'm almost about to tell men right now, yeah, about the marriage thing, blah, blah, blah. But, only because there's enough people on this planet anyway, maybe don't have kids right now. Just hold off having kids, especially if you're in your 20s as a dude. Don't have kids right now. You don't want to have them too late neither. But in my case, I took my time having a kid with my ex-wife. I didn't have it with her immediately. You know, we was together for years, and then we got married, and then we had a kid, you know. But each thing I thought would bring us closer together and strengthen the bond, and that wasn't the case. I mean, I guess strengthen the bond that we can't just totally cut each other out of our life right now, but you know, I don't know. If I knew what I knew, I would have did things a little bit more differently. But in yeah, I'm gonna save that for my marriage one. But you know, it's not all on her neither. You know, it's me too. I wish I knew certain things that I know now. But so what is the answer? Look, as each individual man, you have to make your own choice. Don't let somebody pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do. If you want to be a stepdad, then go ahead and do it. But if you don't want to be a stepdad, don't let women or men shame you into doing it right there. And you people that want to be, you guys that want to be stepdads, you know, just have all the information of what can go wrong. You know, focus on what can go right, but be conscious of what can go wrong. So anyway, that's it. And I think I did better on this one, right? Peace.